Welcome to Daily Review, your daily dose of literary exploration. We dive into books that spark curiosity and ignite growth. While our passion often leads us to nonfiction reads that empower and improve your life, no book is off limits. From gripping thrillers to insightful memoirs and compelling fiction to historical accounts, we're here to share and discuss all the interesting reads we discover. Tune in for your next great book idea. Today, we're diving into a big one, Robert Kiyosaki's Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Now, this book has been called everything from life-changing to totally out of touch. But what if we told you that all its lessons, all the controversy, really just boil down to one single rule? A rule that once you really see it might just change how you think about money forever. The whole book is really a story about the two major father figures in Robert Kiyosaki's life. On one side, you have his poor dad, that's his real father, a super smart, highly educated man who, despite his academic success, always struggled with his finances. And on the other side, his rich dad, his best friend's father, a guy who dropped out of school in the 8th grade but went on to become a multimillionaire. The difference between them wasn't their paycheck. It was their entire philosophy. One believed you work for money. The other believed money should work for you. And that clash is at the heart of everything. All right, so let's really dig into these two completely different ways of thinking. Because what Kiyosaki argues is that the financial path you end up on, it's not about how much you earn. It's about the fundamental beliefs about money that you choose to live by. This quote from Rich Dad just cuts right to the chase. For him, being broke was just a situation, a temporary cash flow problem you could solve. But being poor, that was a mindset. That was a permanent state of mind that keeps you trapped. See the difference? One's a circumstance. The other is a story you tell yourself that ends up coming true. And when you look at the advice they gave, it was just polar opposites. On the topic of jobs, poor dad would say, find a safe, secure job with good benefits. Rich dad's take, learn how to create jobs. When it came to education, poor dad's goal was study hard so you can be a good employee. Rich dad said no, study to become rich so you can hire good employees. This contrast shaped every decision. So what happens when you follow that conventional advice from poor dad? Go to a good school, get a good job. Well, Kiyosaki says it leads most of us right into a trap he famously named the rat race. And listen, this isn't just about having a hectic life. It's a specific financial loop, a doom loop, really. You get a promotion, a nice raise. So what do? You buy a bigger house or a nicer car, your expenses creep up to match that new income, and boom, you're right back where you started, just with more expensive stuff. It's a cycle that's powered by two emotions, fear of not having enough money and the desire for all the shiny new things. And here's how that trap works, mechanically speaking. For most of us, money flows in from our job, and then it flows right back out to pay for taxes, the mortgage, that car loan, credit card bills. Before you know it, at the end of the month, there's little to nothing left to actually build wealth. You're basically a hamster on a wheel, running faster and faster, but not actually getting anywhere. So how in the world do you escape this rat race? Well, according to Rich Dad, it all comes down to understanding one incredibly simple but powerful rule. This right here is the absolute core of the entire book. Getting this right is everything. It is, according to Kiyosaki, the single most important lesson for financial freedom. And yet, it's a distinction that most people, even very smart people, get wrong their entire lives. You ready for it? Okay, forget all the complicated definitions you learned in school. It's actually super simple. An asset is anything that puts money in your pocket. That's it. Think of it like a little employee that works for you 24/7 generating income. It could be a rental property that brings in rent checks, stocks that pay you dividends, or royalties from a book you wrote. It's a machine that makes you money. And a liability? Well, it's the exact opposite. A liability is anything that takes money out of your pocket, month after month. We're talking car payments, student loans, credit card debt, and, here's the one that gets everybody, even the mortgage on the house you live in. These things are constantly draining your cash. And this quote nails the huge mistake that keeps so many people stuck. You go out and buy a brand new car, and you feel rich, but that monthly payment, the insurance, the gas, it's a constant drain on your cash flow. You're buying a liability, but you're thinking it's an asset. And that one little misunderstanding is what keeps the rat race going. Now let's tackle Kiyosaki's most controversial idea, that your personal home is not an asset. Why would he say that? Because every single month, it takes money out of your pocket for the mortgage, property taxes, insurance, and repairs. Not only that, but all the money you have locked up in your house is money that isn't out there working for you in other investments. From his point of view, a true asset would be a rental property that pays you every month. Okay, so once you truly understand this one rule, assets put money in, liabilities take money out. How do you actually use it? Well, this is where the rich start to play a completely different game. It all starts with minding your own business. This is a really cool distinction Rich Dad made. He said you should keep your daytime job. That's your profession. But you also have to mind your own business. Your business isn't what you do from 9 to 5. Your business is your asset column. It means you focus your spare time, energy, and money on one thing: buying and building those income-producing assets. To get good at building that asset column, you have to raise your financial IQ. And Kiyosaki says this isn't about being a math whiz. It's about getting good at 4 key things. First, accounting, so you can actually read and understand the numbers. Second, investing, which is the science of making your money make more money. Third, understanding markets, so you can spot opportunities others miss. And finally, knowing the law, so you can use things like corporations and tax advantages to protect your wealth. And check this out. This is one of the biggest legal advantages the rich use. As an employee, you know the drill. You earn money, the government immediately takes its cut in taxes, and then you try to live on what's left. But if you own a corporation, the whole sequence flips. The corporation earns money, then it spends whatever it needs to on expenses like salaries, cars, travel, and then it pays taxes on whatever is left over. It's a totally different ballgame. In the end, the real message of Rich Dad Poor Dad isn't about some get-rich-quick scheme. It's that your financial destiny isn't determined by your paycheck. It's determined by your knowledge and by the choices you make with your money every single day. Financial intelligence is what lets you see the opportunities that are invisible to everyone else. So the real final question the book leaves us with isn't about what's in your bank account. It's about this. Your mind is your single most powerful asset. What are you investing in it? Thank you so much for tuning into Daily Review. We truly appreciate you joining us for your daily dose of literary exploration. Your support means the world to us and helps us continue to share these amazing books with you. If you're enjoying what you hear, please consider taking a moment to subscribe, rate, like, and comment on any of the platforms you're listening from. This really helps support our channel and allows us to get better and bring you even more great content. If today's review sparked your interest and you're ready to dive into a copy of the book, please consider using the link in our description to make your purchase. Not only does it make it easy for you to get your hands on the book, but it also directly supports our channel and the author, allowing us to keep bringing you more great content. Thanks again for being a part of the Daily Review community.